A couple questions. Sitting over here because I'm normally sitting at the counter and the dishwasher's going and it's loud over there. So jumping on, answer questions about narcissism, narcissistic abuse. If you're new here, my name is Ben Taylor. I'm a self-aware narcissist on this channel to provide awareness about narcissistic abuse. I help women that are trapped in toxic relationships, mentally, emotionally, physically, to actually get free. Get free from the trauma bond, get free from the confusion, get free from the guilt, work to understand what is actually happening, what is actually keeping them stuck, and how to actually liberate themselves. The goal inside of everything I do is not to make or break the relationship. It's actually for you to find freedom. That freedom might look like leaving and blocking. That freedom might look like no longer being triggered and being able to be in charge of your own responses, your own reactions. That could be a lot of different things. The piece inside of it, I've had a couple people that have left comments asking about when is he going to get his karma, when is he going to get his due. And the biggest question I always come back with is, when are you going to get your healing? Because you'll find people that have spent so much time looking at the pain that they have had happen in their life and the pain that they want to cause someone else simply because of how he's treated them. But the problem is a narcissist doesn't think the same way as you. He doesn't focus the same way as you. He doesn't process the same way as you. He doesn't have empathy the same way as you. And he's using different things to leverage all of that to try to get you back, to try to confuse you, to try to leave you stuck. And you'll spend so much time and effort thinking about him. And if you do, he still wins. The biggest way you can stick it to a narcissist is just pure indifference. Being indifferent about what he actually does, being indifferent about what he actually says, and learning and living your life the way that you want to. But when you've been used and abused and manipulated for such a long period of time, you get used to making everything about him. All of your life completely about him. And as a result, he's still in your mind. He's still in your head. He's still in your heart. And it's hard for you to be able to move forward. So tonight I'm jumping on just to be able to answer questions. So drop any questions you have down below. We'll go back and forth just to be able to work through this piece of what's actually going on. How are you actually processing this? Where are you stuck inside of your relationship? Where do you feel like you're struggling to figure out how to build your confidence, your clarity, how to actually find you again? Do you feel crazy? Like, drop questions down below. Why does a narcissist never take accountability for anything that he does? A narcissist won't take accountability because it will reveal shame and guilt inside of his life, and he doesn't want to deal with that. He doesn't want to process it. He doesn't want to have that in his world. So he's like, let me run away from shame and guilt. I never wanted to have the shame and the guilt. I felt like that was death. That was me taking ownership and accountability. I couldn't even say the words I was wrong. I would always run away from it. The closest I ever got to it early on was like I was less right, but I would never say I was wrong. I didn't want to admit that I was wrong. I didn't want to admit that there was anything wrong with me. Guilt, then shame. Then a narcissist will project it, try to blame it on you, and then he'll rage out. That's the cycle really quickly. Why would a narcissist cry when you broke up with him after realizing they were cheating? He's crying to manipulate and to keep you there. It's not crying because he's actually sorry. He's sorry that he got caught. He wishes that it could have kept going because he was enjoying the manipulation control of you and another woman. He cries simply just to make you feel like he's changing, to make you feel like he has empathy, to make you feel like he's sad, but there's no changed behavior. That's the biggest thing. Why does a narcissist ignore you? A lot of times a narcissist will ignore you to make you keep trying. Like if you get together with a narcissist and you start having like a lot of texting back and forth, communication, like all the kind of stuff. Like you'll have a lot of things where it's all of a sudden it feels great, it feels connected, and then all of a sudden he's ignoring you and you're like, why? Well, because when he pushes and then he pulls back, you're like, was it me? Did I do something wrong? What's happening? And you try to even harder. And that makes him feel better about himself because he's like, oh, this person wants me. This person is coming after me. This person is chasing me, right? It's all that manipulation control. So oftentimes he'll ignore you to make you feel bad, to make you chase him, and sometimes to make you wonder what you did wrong. Like that's it. Make you feel bad for yourself, yeah.
So she can give me a kiss.
That's fine, but I need you to go upstairs. I told you to stay in bed.
Kisses.
Okay, good night. Love you. Good night.
Okay, one more.
All right, go to bed. Love you. Should you block your ex-narc on everything? I would. There's no point. Right? There's no point to have interaction with him, to be able to have him still have access to your life or to watch you. You don't owe anything to him. You don't owe him to see your healing. You don't owe him to see your growth or development. Can they be a good person at heart? Define that. I struggle with that question, and I'm not exactly sure why. So we're gonna break it down. I struggle with that question because you're like, can he be a good person at heart? So at heart, he like loves you and he cares about you, but he abuses you. Like that's the piece you have to understand. There's not gonna be this piece inside of him that he's like, oh, he is such a great person in his heart. He just exemplifies it in an abusive way. Like it doesn't work that way. Like you can have trauma responses for sure. He can have trauma responses that come out in abusive ways for sure. But at the end of the day, the abuse that you're suffering from is a choice. His choice. And his willingness to keep doing it and to keep hurting you is all because he wants to have control over his world, control over his image, control over the guilt and the shame that he doesn't want to feel. Right? I didn't care about the hurt I was causing other people. I just justified it in my mind thinking like, well, at least I'm not getting hurt. At least I'm not the one that's getting beat up mentally and emotionally. Like, at least I'm not this one. At least I'm not this one. Like, that was it. It didn't have anything to do with anybody else. I didn't care about if I hurt other people. What I cared about is that I didn't get hurt. It's always about me. It's always about the image. That's all it was about. Why are narcissists so abusive when you remove their control over you? Because it's going to get worse. Like when you start to take back your power, it's going to get worse. Narcissist is going to come at you even harder. Why? Because he's losing control. It's like a panic. It's almost like anxiety is like the wrong word, but it's like a panic of losing control, which means he's losing control of the image and he's losing control of what might happen. So there's a piece of like when my wife was getting ready to leave, like she was getting ready to leave multiple times. And there would be this piece inside of me that would swell up and be like this panic mode in one sense of like, I don't want her to leave because if she leaves, then I'll look like a bad guy. Then I'll look like an abusive person. Then I'll look like less than. Then I'll look like a failure. Why? Because my wife left me. So there's this panic of like, I don't want her to leave. So I do anything I could to keep her to stay. But then she would stay and there'd be a piece inside me that's like, oh, crap. Now I have to live with her. Now I have to deal with this. Now I have to do this. I was going to be free, but now I'm going to be free. I didn't want to own that. Like I didn't ever want to admit what I was feeling, what I was thinking. How to get rid of him. I have a narcissist at work acting all obsessed with me while he has a wife and kids at home. Like if it's at work, I'd probably like report him. Like it'd be a piece you could actually like put him to HR. Like at work, there's different things that it can actually help protect you inside of that. You feel bad for these people. For narcissists, why? He made a choice. Like early on, I would like you to feel bad for me. Why? So I could use and weaponize your empathy to get what I wanted. That's how a lot of times I even got into different affairs. It was because the person that I was getting into affair with knew everything about me and knew my life, knew my wife, knew everything and was like, yeah, like I have it so rough. I have it so hard. A narcissist wants you to feel bad for him. Why? So he can manipulate and use your empathy against you. He can weaponize it. Do they cheat because the addiction to cheating and need for a validation along with a thrill? And do you think some narcissistic people want to stop the addiction? I think narcissists oftentimes know that something's different. I think narcissists oftentimes will cheat because of the high of having control over other people. That's all it is. A lot of times it's exciting, a high of like, hey, I can cheat and get away with it. I can have my cake and eat it too. I feel bad they need to be in control of someone to feel validated. They're just trying to feel validated for themselves, yeah. How to live with a narcissistic father, meaning the Indian culture where you're supposed to respect them, and as a girl, we're supposed to respect and honor them, but how do you do so with a narcissistic dad? You have to set healthy boundaries, and then you have to follow those. Like a narcissistic dad is no different than a narcissistic husband in what you have to do. You still have to set boundaries. You still have to protect your space. You still have to work on building up your own worth and value apart from whatever he's going to say about you. Weaponizing empathy. That's new info. Yeah, 100%. Narcissists will love to weaponize empathy, right? That's why many of you will fall into the trap of trying to fix him when reality is you need to be healing you. This is what I bring everybody to. Everybody that works with me inside of Raw Motivations, one thing I have to do is I have to shift your focus off of him back onto you. It's one of the hardest things. We have to help you rewire your mindset. Otherwise, you will focus so much on trying to fix him, trying to figure out what you did wrong, like all different types of things, and be obsessed with that piece of it. That's the trauma bond. If we don't break the trauma bond, you will stay obsessed with him and you will lose every single time. Like you will stay obsessed with every different piece about it and you will never get your healing. That's what we have to focus you back on. Feeling sorry for these monsters is what keeps you stuck, 100%. I finally realized that I need to remind myself to feel sorry for myself and not someone who can only care about themselves, 100%. Radical acceptance is key. He's so right. Yeah. Radical acceptance is huge. You have to be able to accept radically what is happening. And that goes back to the facts. Most people do not want to view the facts of the life. Most of this world loves to live in fantasy, loves to live in fiction, loves to live in lies. So when you have someone that just speaks truth, sometimes it's polarizing, sometimes it's frustrating, sometimes it's scary. Because when you awaken to the reality of the truth of what you're actually in, when you awaken to the facts of the situation that you're currently in, it means you have to do something about it. That's one of the most terrifying pieces that you can ever be. When you realize that you've been manipulated and abused, one, it puts shame in your life. It shouldn't, but that's just naturally what it does. And then two, it also prompts you to move to a place that you have to do something about it. That's why whenever people watch my content, I'm like, hey, don't just watch and consume, actually do something. Let me show you step by step how to break the trauma bond, how to eradicate the triggers, how to stand up in confidence, whether you're with or without them, it doesn't matter. I'm not here to make or break your relationship. I'm here to help you heal fully. If you want to know more about that, you can go to rawmotivations.com/breakthrough. I've got a short video there. I've got an application you can fill out just to be able to book a free call for us to sit down so you can actually see where you're at, where you want to go, what's the pieces in between. Because if you don't work through some of the challenges that are in between you and the healed version of you, you'll stay stuck no matter what. I told the ex I felt sorry for him, that I'm the one with a terminal diagnosis, which I'm not accepting. He just sat there pathetically. No more feeling sorry for these people. Yeah, no more. I'm trying to be like your twin, constantly let people over me. I don't understand that. Why do narcissists run away after you expose them? This is the shame and the guilt. Narcissist wants to run away from shame and guilt. Narcissists are always shame avoidant. They're running away from that. Narcissist X keeps sending gifts at home, even though I told not to many times how to stop him. I would do like anytime you get gifts or things from him, I would just do like a return to sender. Make him think that you're like moved. My church, who is sending me toxic messages like you were sick because I asked him. Okay, Anna, let's put the whole thing in one thing, because otherwise I don't really know what you're trying to say. I've got like 5 messages and I don't really know what you're trying to say. Okay? Here's the piece inside of this. A trauma bond looks multiple different ways. You can have a trauma bond by being with the guy. You can have a trauma bond by going back to the guy. You have a trauma bond inside of like every single aspect of your world. You can have a trauma bond that leaves you trapped mentally and emotionally. That is what a trauma bond does. It hooks you onto hope. It weaponizes your empathy. It leaves you in a place where an emotional roller coaster. It puts you in cognitive dissonance. You can't determine what's right, what's wrong, what's up, what's down. You have no clue. Trauma bonds are meant to keep you stuck. And when you're with a guy that's manipulating or lying to you, you develop a trauma bond. Miss my husband so much. We're still married, and he left me for a married woman after I gave birth. Now the woman went back to her husband, and he's all alone, and I know he won't try to get help. That's part of the trauma bond, is missing him, right? It's a piece of logically, you're like, hey, probably shouldn't because of how he betrayed me. Emotionally, I still miss him. I still care. Both of those at the same time sometimes will produce shame and guilt and make you feel weird and crazy. It's not. It actually means you're human. It actually means like reality is hit. And the hardest part is actually connecting your head and heart. That's what we have to do. Because if we don't connect, oftentimes you'll just keep people like stuck in limbo land forever. Who wins in one narcissist versus sociopath and one narcissist versus psychopath? I don't know. If trauma bond is broken, how can you tell? That's a really good question. Oftentimes the easiest way to be able to tell with a trauma bond being completely broken is indifference. Like that's what's going to get the narcissist the most, but also a piece of like where you could walk down the street and you could see this guy and you'd be like, okay. And he's not going to pull you back. He's not going to make you react. He's not going to make you do anything simply because you're in charge of who you are. Indifference is one of the biggest things that shifts. The problem is sometimes people are so bent and focused on him getting his karma, they'll never be indifferent because they want to have revenge or they want to make sure that he's going to get his due. And as a result, they never heal. What kind of people are you attracted to in terms of social connection and friends? Honest people. When have you ever done something wrong and learned from it? A million different things. Every single day we're learning. Can you prove you're narcissistic? I don't have to prove anything to you. I've got a diagnosis and I've got years of working on myself. Saw my ex again, mistake. It was nice, then ignored. Saw him again on the street. He said, I'll call you. It's been 2 weeks. No call. Is that a game? Yeah, 100% it's a game. You're playing it. You're messing with him. So as a result, like nothing's going to shift. Stop playing his game. Stop playing his game. Just let go and let God. It's great, and it's a great thing to put on a bumper sticker, but it doesn't always come into practicality to help people heal from trauma. God's great. He's been a part of my journey. But just letting go and letting God, early on in my journey, I would just be like, go F yourself, because I didn't care what people were saying about God. That didn't wake me up, right? Because I was a liar to myself. You just throw God at situations, not saying he can't help, but if you just throw God at situations just blankly, that doesn't actually help people with a trauma response. It doesn't actually help people understand how to actually calm down in the middle of a panic attack, right? Just understand that sometimes you can take that and you can throw it out there and it's just supposed to be a grenade that's magically supposed to fix things. Do narcissists view your stories with porn bots? I don't know. I have these porn bots look at stories. It's all YouTube. It might be someone spying. I have no clue. Did you know you were a narcissist, or were you told you were? It wasn't something that I just intrinsically knew. It was a piece that came up over a period of time. I've got some of it put inside of my origin story on Real and Raw with Ben Taylor, my podcast. Inside of that, there was a piece that it's probably like 5 years ago, 6 years ago, something like that. I don't know. I asked my wife for timelines because I don't remember. We were in the kitchen and we were cleaning up, and there was a piece of me that just kind of had this like moment that I was like, you know what? I don't really know what's wrong with me. I don't really care about people. Don't really think about people. Don't really have this like piece that I care about people. And I realized that by going through some different like personality tests and things that we had to do at work. And inside of that, I said something in the kitchen. I was just like, I don't know. I was like, I don't really care about people. Maybe I'm a sociopath. And I was like, I don't know. And my wife was like, why don't we look it up? So we looked it up and we like went through it. And I was kind of like, doesn't seem to connect. And she was like, maybe you're a narcissist. And I was like, yeah, right. And I gaslit her in that moment, looked it up later. It was kind of like, that actually might be a thing, but I don't want to admit that. So I went and found other friends, people inside of our world that I could convince that I wasn't a narcissist. Can you believe my wife told me I was a narcissist, right? All these things to get people on my side, different affair partners. I was like, can you believe that's what she said, right? And then they were able to go and talk to my wife to convince her that I wasn't a narcissist. It was this whole big piece. And it was just like a glimpse. There's been a lot of changes. What did wake you up to narcissism? What made you want to change? The piece that if nothing was going to change if I didn't change, and the piece that I couldn't be a man if I was showing up as a liar. Indifference with my ex during pickup and drop off got him talking to me about random stuff, extending pickup times. So set boundaries and don't extend pickup times. How can I stop this person at my church from trying to turn everyone against me? I'm ready to stop going to church and get a restraining order. I would go ahead and get a restraining order as far as like the church piece. If the narcissist is getting people on his side and pitting them against you, then one, know that those people are a little stupid. Two, know that these other people have no respect for you because they're not actually coming to you to ask the full story. And know that those people were never in your corner to start off with. So like, no matter how much of like the church people like are supposed to support you, but they're listening to him and believing his reality, not healthy. Might be a good place for you to leave that church and find a better one anyways. When do narcissists care that they're narcissists? Why is this a new thing? A lot of times narcissists do not care that they're narcissists. Even if they knew they were narcissists, a lot of times they wouldn't care at all. If it's possible for narcissistic people to feel genuine love at all, no, not without the level of ego that's there. Love and joy is not a piece that's there. Narcissist won't be able to feel joy simply because he can't experience gratitude because he's too infatuated with the image, the story he's telling himself versus actually having any type of gratitude for anyone else. If the narcissist is deceased, will his family leave you alone and target someone else? I don't know. Are you self-diagnosed? Nope, that's why I've been in therapy for like 5 years now. What can I do to prevent getting hurt by a narcissist, female or mother, making my life a living hell? Go no contact. Like, you have to set boundaries and you have to set buffers. If you can't go completely no contact, then the reduced communication, right? A narcissist wants to have communication with you to trigger and react and get you to react. So if you're like, hey, I'm communicating and all this kind of stuff, okay, go from communicating on FaceTime to only on the phone. Go from only on the phone to only text. Go from only text to only email. Go from only email, go through like a third-party app. Like, you have to be able to control this because if not, he's going to control you. He's going to make you react. Is it better to be alone than with a narcissist? Yeah. If a narcissist calls for backup, you won the flying monkeys. You're a complete anomaly. This has never happened. I was told, God bless you. I work with other guys that have shown up in toxic ways as well. Just join the live. How do I know if I am a narcissist? There's 9 diagnostic traits, and you have to have at least 5 and then be prevalent for a long period of time for you to be considered diagnosable of a narcissist. I'm worried someone in my life is a narcissist because he lies a lot and he lacks empathy. Are those two things with narcissists? The lacking empathy is one of the 9 diagnostic traits. Lying is not, but it's typically a big piece inside of it. At the end of the day, I don't care if the guy's a narcissist or not. I care that he's a liar, because if he's a liar, that means you have no relationship. That means you don't even know anything that's true, right, wrong, or indifferent inside of this, in the world that you live in. Right? At the end of the day, when I'm talking to like anybody, I'm saying like, hey, what does it matter if he's labeled a narcissist or not? At the end of the day, the label doesn't matter. What matters is that he's a liar. What matters is the abuse that's affecting you. That's the biggest thing. Restraining order, he's still reaching out. He will go to court for either things he did to me. How to be the safest? Should I call the cops? Yes. He threatens to kill me with a knife. Protect yourself. Like, take a lot of security to make sure that you protect yourself. But otherwise, keep going through this process. Like, keep going through the process of holding him accountable. Otherwise, he'll keep doing it. I have BPD. I was raised with a narcissist, possibly a sociopath. When did you realize that you had popped your ego and become not a narcissist? When God removed the label, basically. Why would my ex reach out to my mom and ask her if my number changed after getting a response from me, after not getting a response from me? All it is trying to be able to bait you, to trigger you. I feel like living on my own and getting away from family. But the ultimate, where are we at? Trying to catch up, sorry. Aren't all narcissists liars? Yeah. But it's just not one of the 9 diagnostic traits. If narcissist claims I'm wrong and wants to argue and not listen to reason, is it best to stay quiet and keep trying to reason and de-escalate through talking? You're never going to de-escalate him through talking, because you're never going to win in his game. A narcissist is going to play the game the way that he wants to, and when he's losing, he changes the rules. Right? Like, one of the best examples is a piece of like, a narcissist will play Monopoly with you, right? And then when he gets pissed off that you're winning, he'll sweep the board off the table and have it fall and then blame you for moving the pieces. Like, this is the thing. You cannot win at playing the same exact game with the narcissist, because he makes up the rules as he goes. And then while he's making up the rules as he goes, he changes the rules. This is why when you work inside of the healing space, the goal is we're not playing his game, you're developing your journey. I walk everybody through a healing journey and a growth mindset to help you eradicate the trauma bond, heal from the triggers that are affecting you, work through the emotions and process it so you can finally be free, mentally, emotionally, physically, from this guy. If you want to know more about what I do, you can go to rawmotivations.com/breakthrough. Like, if anything I'm saying is like resonating, what I do is I help women who are trapped in toxic relationships, either mentally, emotionally, either with the guy or without the guy. I help people heal. Because if you don't actually see the healing process of how to rewire your mindset, you'll continue to attract narcissists. You'll continue to go back to narcissists. You'll continue to be stuck in a fog, the fear, the obligation, the guilt that leaves you trapped long term. Why do they say narcissists can't change? Because there's no money in dealing with narcissists, right? You can't prescribe something. So a lot of therapists don't want to actually diagnose and claim that. Narcissists can't change. That also came back from different pieces early on with Sigmund Freud, where he came up with it, and was going through this piece of like, don't want to deal with it, so they can't change, right? There's also a lot of different pieces inside of it that people haven't figured out the best way to be able to break down the thought process. So as a result, narcissists typically don't have any change because they don't want to be honest. They don't want to actually deal with their guilt and shame. Do narcissists not typically care about animals? I'd think that'd be more sociopathic, but it only really depends if the animal is helping the narcissist image. Why are you being a victim to yourself? You must be new here. Welcome to the channel. There's not a victim on this side. Do you think you could truly fall in love with someone? Yeah. Haven't introduced you to my wife because she's not here tonight, but yeah, you can listen to our podcast called Trauma, Drama, in Life. Let's see. Let's catch up. We got a bunch of different comments. I'm just going to catch up here. How do you deal with ex-narcissists, smear campaigns at work? Live your life. Live your life and focus on you. Like, smear campaigns are all meant for you to be able to have a reaction and for you to be like, no, that's not true. This isn't me. Like, that's what a smear campaign is for. It's to have you do these things. Inside of this, like, you have to understand a smear campaign only works when you react the way that they expect you to react. Don't react the same way. Focus on you. All right. I'm kind of like skimming their comments because there's so many. I got lost track. Narcissists will do anything not to take blame or responsibility. 100%. He's going to project blame on you because he doesn't want to be accountable. How can you love her if you cheated? Love is a choice, which means that I don't cheat anymore, and I choose not to cheat anymore, and I choose to actually put her first. I choose to respect and honor and love her. My brother-in-law is a narcissist. He only cares about himself. How do we deal with this? He won't budge on holidays. He just shuts down when it's not his way. Let him shut down. Let him pout in the corner. Like, set up healthy boundaries. I just let people talk. If people believe that stuff, you don't want them around. What hurts the narcissist the most from a significant other? Indifference, and you actually focusing on your healing. You healing and moving forward. Ever since I had a narcissist in my life, I had to fight, get out. I've discovered them all over my life. My dad, my brothers, now my boss. I'm glad I've learned how to handle them. Yeah, a lot of times you start figuring stuff out really quickly. My narcissist was why was my narcissist so loving to me, never raised his voice at all, but had dark thoughts of me, seriously ill or dead, planning what he would do when I am dead? Could have been sociopath too. If a narcissist realizes that you cannot be defeated, will they just submit to you? No. I'll probably fight like even harder, or probably leave and go find someone else. How do I become more of a narcissist? What, you want to be abusive? Then get off my channel. What are the narcissistic traits? So there's 9 of them. I'm probably not going to get all of them right because I'm not going to try to like recite them off the DSM-5. But it has to do with manipulation, has to do with lack of empathy, has to do with arrogant, haughty behaviors, infatuation of like ideal fantasies, of ideal love, position, power, exploitative of others. There's a lot of different pieces of those. But there's 9 diagnostic traits. I've got a couple videos on YouTube that dive into them like fully, like going through the DSM-5 and explaining and walking through them. You have to have at least 5 to be considered like diagnosable. How do you stop thinking about them so much? We have to help you rewire the mindset. I walk people through what's called the freedom formula, which shifts the mindset and helps you actually release the trauma bond. Like if we can help you release the trauma bond, you can actually heal, move forward, and actually find freedom. The freedom formula walks you through a process of understanding what's the trigger that's happening in your life, what's the emotions and the feelings associated with it, what are you actually telling yourself underneath all of that, and how do we actually look at the facts and change the story that you're believing. Everything that leaves you stuck with a narcissist is not the narcissist. It's the mindset. It's the head and the heart being disconnected. My job as a coach is help people align that, get actually connected, get clear, so they can make decisions with confidence and clarity, because otherwise they will be stuck permanently. And I've seen people be stuck for a long period of time inside the trauma bond simply because they didn't know how to disassemble it. I've walked hundreds of women through how to disassemble the trauma bond so it no longer affects them. If you want to know more about that, you can go to rawmotivations.com/breakthrough. There's an opportunity for you to see just a quick video from me talking through this process of the healing journey, the growth mindset that I walk people through, and then you can book a free call. Because inside of that, my goal is to be able to help people see where they're at, where they're going, and the gap in between. If we can help you fill that gap to heal, wouldn't that be worth it? Do you have the link for the freedom formula? I might have it in a YouTube video. It's what we teach very in depth inside of our courses, inside of our challenges. Have you ever said sorry from your heart and meant it? Not back then. I have since then, yes. Is this channel making your narcissism worse? No, it's very much inside the healing journey. What is the best way to co-parent with a narcissist? It'd be parallel parenting. It'd be using the BIF method, brief, informative, friendly, and firm. Need to reclaim my life and sanity back. Please reach out. Was that answering how you can tell if you are one? You started talking as soon as I sent that, and it felt really fast. Not sure. Why is mine balanced with facts and evidence versus distorted? Yeah, you have to go. We teach everybody to go with the facts. Like the facts has to be what sets you free. My ex talking about my death to our boys since they were. I found this a year and a half ago when he asked to leave my boys and I started therapy. Social media attention making your narcissism worse? No. Social media is crappy supply for, well, at least for me. Other narcissists might get off of it. I don't really care. I'm not really on social media except to go live and communicate and help answer questions. My ex is not only a narcissist, he makes jokes about how he'd kill me. A lot of that sounds more like sociopathic. Can they change? Anyone can change if they're willing to be honest. Majority of narcissists are not willing to be honest simply because they don't want to deal with the guilt and the shame and the void inside. So they're going to keep running away from it over and over and over. Will a narcissist not protect his wife when she feels unsafe? He doesn't really care. It's all about him. It's not about her. Like it's her against the world and she's not supportive, or is that and he's not supportive, is that something else? No, a lot of times he's not supportive anyways because he doesn't give a shit about her. All he cares about is himself. Like, I didn't care about how my wife was or how my wife was feeling. All I cared about was myself. Like, that's it. I cared about my image. I cared about like the projection of everything I was putting out there. I didn't care about anybody else. I just cared about me. That's what a narcissist is. It's like that self-fulfillment of like, I only care about what I'm putting out there. That's how I used to show up every single time. That's how the guy in your life is showing up. He only cares about himself. Is it common for victims of long-term narcissistic abuse to take on the traits of narcissism? That would be called narcissistic fleas. It's where you pick up different traits, different aspects, different coping mechanism because you've been with this guy for so long. So like, for instance, if you've been with this guy for so long, you might have developed a bad habit of lying. Why? Because lying was survival. Lying was a place to protect you from the abuse, from walking on eggshells, from him yelling at you. What is about the guilt and shame that's so difficult to feel and get past? Why do we cling to it? So a lot of times I would describe it as like an empath or somebody who's not narcissistic might feel like guilt or shame and it be like a paper cut. For a narcissist, it feels like you're chopping off an arm with a spoon. Like, it feels like death. The narcissist has to run away from that because he's too afraid of the shame and guilt and what does it actually mean? For the longest time, I was very afraid of shame and guilt. I didn't know how to process it. I didn't know how to work with it. I was running constantly from it. Is it annoying that people call everyone a narcissist even when there's no formal diagnosis? Yeah, it's just a trend. A lot of people do it. That's why I don't care about the label. I care about the facts of how is it actually affecting you and if the guy's a liar. Do narcissists ever cry or grieve the loss of others? They cry to manipulate, and they expect that your crying is the same thing as well. They're typically not grieving other people. Do they ever stop trying to message exes? I got a civil stalking order against him. He uses fake numbers to message me. One day he's so sorry. The next day he's telling people all my wrongs. If he's using a bunch of fake numbers, change yours. Like, eliminate it completely. Feel like this is a troll as most narcissists don't openly say they are. You must be new here. Welcome to the channel. What's the difference between a therapist and a coach like yourself when healing from narcissistic abuse? That's a really good question. Couple things. One, as a coach, I can say whatever I need to wake you up. Therapist is limited by a couple different things. Two, a lot of tools and a lot of community that we bring people into versus like one-on-one therapy. What I've seen inside of working with over 4,000 people at this point is working with people one-on-one doesn't work initially. Doesn't work as effective as what it could. How I view a lot of times therapists as being very good at going in and dealing with a surgical process, like a specific thing that needs to be worked on. But as far as like the coaching that I do, the goal is to help get you clear, have you build confidence, and then have certainty in your decisions. And we do this inside of first narcissistic abuse, and then we help cascade this over all of your life. So getting clear about where you are physically, where you are mentally, where you are emotionally, how to be able to move forward spiritually, how to be able to connect to others, how to be able to grow inside the money mindset, like everything, like whole body. Like a lot of times people are like mind, body, soul, spirit, like everything, right? The goal inside of what I do is not just to get you free, but to get you thriving long-term. If you want to know a little bit more about that, you can go to rawmotivations.com/breakthrough. Watch a quick video, fill out a quick form, book a free call. Because inside of this, the goal is that you find freedom long-term. So you feel guilt, all narcissists feel guilt, but they pull it down really quick because they don't want to go to the next piece. They don't want to go to the next piece of actually having the shame or the guilt. Hey, we're getting more spam people. This is going to be fun. So we're going to be blocking some people. If you're not here to heal or help, then you can get off my channel. This is like... YouTube's great. Like whenever I first got on YouTube, we'd get so much hate and we get so many people that were just saying the stupidest stuff. Like people that would just come on and say stupid shit like what you're seeing. Okay. So anyways, in his service, thank you so much. I think you're the only admin that's in here. I need to get some more admins that can help. It's ridiculous. Do you help with cognitive dissonance and trauma bonds? That's literally exactly what I do. So cognitive dissonance is part of the trauma bond. That's how I teach it. Hope, potential, cognitive dissonance, intermittent reinforcement, and all of that is in this addictive cocktail of the trauma bond. I actually teach people inside the healing journey. We have to help you break the trauma bond. We have to help you process the triggers. If we can do those two things, then we can move into the growth mindset, which is dealing with how to say no, how to have healthy boundaries, and how to know who you are, the purpose, the vision, values of actually living and growing and developing you. So the trauma bond and the cognitive dissonance, 100%. We have to help you rewire the story that you're telling yourself, shifting the mindset, shifting the thought process. Like that's the biggest thing. If we don't shift the thought process, you stay stuck long-term. You stay stuck permanently. The trauma bond is the biggest thing I attack and go after. I teach this inside of the freedom formula. We teach this inside of a rewiring process. We teach this inside of stacking. We teach this through all of our challenges because you have to understand what the trauma bond is and how to break it, 100%. CBT and DBT saved my life. Yeah, a lot of good therapy for sure. How do you react if someone says something bad about you? On social media, I don't really care. Unless you know me, like I don't really care. There's like, when we want to talk about people saying like bad stuff about me, like you should check out TikTok. I'll get people that message me and be like, you should be dead. Like, you should admit that you're gay. Come out of the closet. Like they'll say a lot of shit on TikTok. Which is ironic because when I first started on TikTok, they were the most supportive and YouTube was the most hateful. It's wild. Anyways, how do I convince someone narcissist to go to therapy? You can't. You can heal and grow and develop yourself. If he's not willing to shift and change, you can't force it. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't force him to drink. And if you do, you'll probably actually drown him. Like the thing inside of this is narcissists do not want to have help. And if they're not willing to actually see honestly that they need help and that they see that they're liars, stop wasting your time trying to convince them to go get healing. Focus on you. You've already signed up for the coaching. Georgia, go to rawmotivations.com/breakthrough. Opportunity for you to be able to see a quick video from me, fill out a quick application, and book a free call. We can sit down, we can talk about where you are, what's going on. Do you hate yourself? No, I don't. A lot of narcissists do. I kind of did in the past, right? Like a piece of like where I didn't like who I was, so I had to keep projecting and putting a mask out in front. Georgia, yeah, absolutely. On average, how long does it take to fully heal from narcissistic abuse after 10 years of being together? So that piece is hard to answer. And the only reason why I'd say this is because there's not an exact timeline for healing. And the other piece is it's really hard because what happens is people will show up and then they'll disappear. Hands down. I've got people that have joined my challenges, my program, that they'll sign up and then they disappear. They run sometimes because they're scared. You can't grow muscle by signing up for a gym membership and not going to the gym, or going to the gym and not lifting the weights. You can't heal from narcissistic abuse if you're like, hey, I want to heal from it, and then you don't do shit. The reason why I say that is because the question of how long, I've seen people heal very rapidly. Why? Because the time, the investment, the energy that they put into their healing, and they were willing to walk through it. This is the whole concept of being a buffalo, going through the storm versus running away from it. Because the times that people run away from the emotions, the feelings, they're not willing to process it, means that their healing is running away as well. Is the confusion because narcissists can be kind and abusive? 100%. That's the cognitive dissonance. That's the back and forth, the two opposing thoughts. What do I believe? His words or do I believe his actions? You need help for your narcissism is treatable. Yeah, welcome. Mind over matter, 100%. We have a t-shirt that we haven't released that actually says that, mind over matter. What do you think of Stan Vaknin? I think listening to him is boring, so I don't. Do you know how narcissism looks different in men versus women? Most narcissists I know are women. I don't. I know a lot of them are very similar anyways, but I work with women who have been in toxic relationships, still are, mentally, emotionally, still are stuck. Work would help them actually heal by showing them from the other side of like, hey, this is what he's thinking. This is what's going on and how we can actually help you rewire the process. I'm getting back into therapy for trauma-informed CBT and EMDR. That's great. Now, I've done CBT, I've done EMDR, a lot of different therapies. Do narcissists who go to couples therapy, twist therapy? 100%. I'd never recommend people to go to couples therapy with a narcissist. Is it my fault that I'm attracted to a narcissist? No, that's what you've been conditioned to be used to. Like that feels acceptable or comfortable, maybe because of your childhood, your upbringing, your previous partners. So we have to help shift the mindset, rewire the mindset. Does narcissists have a time frame for changing? No, they typically don't because they're not willing to be honest and they're not willing to be honest with themselves. There's a lot of comments. This is helping a lot, seeing it from the other side, making me stronger. Good, I'm glad to help. Is there anything in particular that snapped you back from being self-aware? Have you always been? I've not always been self-aware. It's a long process inside of it. It wasn't like a magical thing that just all of a sudden shifted. My brother is alcoholic. What do I do? Help him fix the alcoholism. If he's narcissistic and alcoholic, nothing will shift. Nothing will change until the actual addiction is gone. I have a question. Where's the closest bridge to you? It's right behind the block that's happening to you. Couple therapy with narcissists is the worst. They manipulate. 100%. 100%. How do narcissists feel about and view their children? Same way as they do you. They don't care. Like a narcissist that's not willing to work on himself, that's not willing to heal or anything, he doesn't give a shit about you and he doesn't give a shit about your kids. Like that's what you have to do is you have to wake up to this reality of he's going to treat the kids eventually the same exact way he's treating you. Because unless they're giving him supply, unless they're giving him attention, unless they're feeding his ego, he doesn't care. This is why sometimes, not always, but sometimes you will have a narcissist be incredibly disconnected from 0 to 3 years old. Why? Because that kid is not going to do anything except for cry, eat, sleep, poop, and pee. So narcissist is like, you're not bringing me anything, so why should I care about you? Then the kid gets a little bit older, and all of a sudden they're in like the golden phase where the dad can look like the Disneyland dad and be like, oh yeah, he's amazing. And all of a sudden the kid worships this guy. Until the kid gets old enough, maybe 8, 10, 11, 13, and starts realizing, oh, dad's full of shit because he's actually not honest. He's actually a liar. He's actually been cheating on my mom. He actually doesn't follow through. And all of a sudden the roles reverse and he's like, well, I don't really care about my kids, right? Because it's only based on what he wants and what he feels in the moment to make himself feel good. Does that make sense? Like they're only looking at the kids of being like, hey, they serve me. They give me something. The narcissist is like looking to you of being like, oh, you can be my servant. You can be my slave. You can be my appliance to help me feel better. That's it. How do you protect your kids? First thing, heal yourself. Everybody wants to focus on the kids. And I get it, and it's amazing, and the kids need help for sure. But you can't help your kids heal while you're still broken. Like when you focus on the kids so much, I see this all the time. I will see a mom that will focus so much on her kids because she loves them so much and she neglects herself. And when she neglects herself, the kids look at her being like, okay, like we know not to be with a toxic person, but you're not setting the example, so why should we listen to you? Out of your own healing comes your kids' redemption. If you do not heal, how do you expect to help your kids? Like that's the biggest piece you have to understand. This is why I work with women to help them heal, because you're helping heal the next generation. You're helping heal the next version of people that are coming up and growing up, realizing that if you stand strong, if you actually move forward in the healing process, it helps redeem your kids from all of this. Most of the kids is caught, not taught. Like a lot of what the kid is going to pick up is going to be caught by how you actually act, how you actually show up. What about the narcissist that uses kids as a tool, pawn to hurt you and realize they can't hurt you anymore? They're going to do that. That's why you have to heal yourself so that they don't trigger you, because otherwise you'll spiral out, you'll get frustrated, you'll rage out even at the kids. Why? Because they're triggering you because of what he's doing through them. That's why you have to heal. Healing has to happen first. Why? How do you feel about being unliked and annoying because you think you know everything? I don't think I know anything anymore. That was a piece that was part of who I used to be. Neglected myself to try to save my son from a narcissistic father. It didn't work, and it took a toll for me for years. 100%. I think narcissistic people are people who have self-respect. Correct me if I'm wrong. Narcissists don't have self-respect at all. Can you heal while still leaving with a narcissist because of kids? 100%. I've got people that are still in the relationship and they've healed. It's hard. Not the majority of people do it. But yeah, I work with women who are in or out of the toxic relationship because that's not the piece that matters. Like I've had people that have gone on calls with me and then they're worried because they're stressed that I'm going to tell them to leave or I'm going to tell them to get out of the relationship, go no contact, and they're not ready. Like I'll never force you to do that because that's not going to help you, because all it does, like let's say for instance, you were on a call with me, right? And I'm like, hey, you have to go no contact. It's not going to help anything. All it's going to do is you'll go no contact. Maybe if I'm your coach and you're like, okay, I'll listen to him. And then you'll go back on it because we haven't shifted the brain. We haven't shifted the mindset. We haven't connected the head to the heart. The trauma bond is still there. If we don't shift that first, Then even if I told you to go no contact, you go no contact, and then you'd go back on it, but then you'd do something different. And that's, you'd have shame and guilt. You wouldn't want to tell me, you'd isolate, you'd hide, and you get further down into the pit of shit that he's dragging you into. This is why we have to work on helping you heal, shift, and actually eradicate the triggers, heal the trauma bond. I don't force people to go no contact. I don't force people to leave. I bring you to a place of saying, hey, I want you to actually see with clarity, with certainty, and know how to do this on a consistent basis. Yes, long-term, I think to heal fully, you have to go no contact. But the thing is, you have to understand sometimes people can't go no contact right away. Sometimes they don't have the confidence and the strength to go no contact right away. So my intention is, how do we help you heal and build up your strength? Is there a preference, drug, narcissist, or uppers or downers? Nope. I think I'm narcissistic father because I definitely had a disconnect. I was bored out of my mind. I did do a lot of cheating when I was young, almost for that feeling of self. So David, if you want to work on that, if you want help inside of that, reach out. Go to realmotivations.com. I've got a breakthrough call for guys. Going no contact and coming back isn't going no contact. You just took a break. Take no breaks for toxic. Do you believe in God? Yes, I do. Would you agree that maturity is being reliable to self and reliable to the people who matter? People pleaser, unreliable to self. Narcissist, unreliable to the people who should matter. Yeah, at a glance, yeah. Can you tell us... What about financial abuse and going no contact? I've had people that have had to leave, go no contact, and start working on building themselves back up. What are some ways you can deal with a narcissistic father? Have healthy boundaries. You're a narcissist. Tell me how that's going for you. Healing, growing, developing. It's been pretty amazing on the journey. Have I enjoyed it the whole way? No. But it's where I am now, and now I get the opportunity to actually help people heal and not go through this over and over. Hey, it's you. Didn't realize you do lives. Yep, I do. Are you happy? Now I am. Do narcissists get together with other narcissists in relationships and friendships? Not always. Sometimes if it like meets their needs or feeds their ego, but not always. Are you still a narcissist? I don't exhibit the traits. I don't act like one. But it's been a lot of work. What happens at the first call with you? What are the typical results? First call with me is sitting down. We'll actually write this out together. I'll have you have a pen and a piece of paper, and you'll write stuff down. I'll write stuff down. That way, when we walk away from the call, you have like actionable things. You have things to actually look at and actually work through. But it writes down of like what's actually happening in your world, how it's affecting you, how it's impacting you. And then we see what is it you actually are looking for in the healing process, the growth and development, like that version of you that you haven't tapped into, that you know is there, but you don't know how to get to. And then we talk about the challenges, the things that are in between. Then if it ends up being a good fit for you to work with me inside of Raw Motivations, inside of one of our challenges or communities, then we talk about it. How do you tell narcissists to try and get help and understand that they may be one, or to maybe try to heal? You leave. Right? Like that's the biggest thing. Like so many people ask me, they're like, what did your wife say? She said, bye. She walked out the door, right? Because when I was left inside of me and there's nothing else here, like there's nothing else to be able to blame and turn from. In regard to the children, our influence is more power than the influence of the narcissist, 100%, because if you're healed and healthy, you set a better example because they're not going to see that from the other person. Being an ex-narcissist, what God is it that you believe in? The Bible, God that created evil? If so, why is that? You obviously don't know the Bible because he didn't create evil. No contact is the only way to heal. Heal fully, 100%, I agree. I did leave my baby mama. Wish she could understand or try to get help for it. A lot of times people will not get help for it because they're not willing to actually deal with the shame and guilt. All right, if you've been watching this tonight and this resonates, like you're seeing what I'm saying and it's connecting with you, go to rawmotivations.com/breakthrough. The opportunity to heal, to grow and develop you. I'll walk people through a healing journey and a growth mindset, breaking the trauma bond, eradicating the triggers, building healthy boundaries, and finding your purpose and vision again. Can you tell us if you can help men that are narcissists? Do you have a group that you talk to and have them heal as well? Yes, but I only work with the guys that reach out. Like you could show them my content, but don't sign them up, right? Like, because that's pointless. Visit rawmotivations.com. There's breakthrough calls for men. Bodo, if you can't go no contact because you share a child, limited contact, look up parallel parenting and using the BIF method: brief, informative, friendly, and firm. I did family counseling, parent, and anger management. That's awesome. And I'm glad you're like working on it. Definitely reach out if you want help with that, because I run with a lot of guys that have healed or that have put back even their marriages or put back some relationships. That can't be the main focus. If it is, like, it doesn't work. Everything they say does line up exactly with his actions and words and situation. Are you telling the truth about the inner thoughts and motivations of narcissists? That takes the confusion away. That's the goal. That's what we do inside of all of our challenges, to be able to help you heal. So you have to help educate you on what's happening on the other side, but also give you the tools to rewire the mindset to connect the head and heart. Otherwise, the disconnect will leave you stuck forever. All right, if I can help you with this, please go to rawmotivations.com/breakthrough. It's an opportunity to watch a quick video. You can see a little bit of what I do, and the opportunity to be able to fill out a form and book a free call. It's a free call to be able to see what's going on, where are you at, how can I help, how can I answer questions, how can I work through this piece and this process for you to help you actually heal fully. I'm wrapping up this evening because my phone's literally at 2%, so it's gonna die any second here. But inside of this, like, if you're dealing with a toxic relationship, you're dealing with manipulation, you're dealing with a guy who's a liar, reach out. Go to rawmotivations.com, same as my username, my handle, rawmotivations.com/breakthrough. Because inside of this, like, you have to be able to see and understand that there's freedom. You don't have to be trapped. You don't have to be stuck. You can actually have freedom from a toxic relationship. You can have freedom from the mental and emotional chaos and hell that you've been in. If you want to know more about this, go to rawmotivations.com/breakthrough. It's a great way for you to be able to see and understand what I do, but also book a free call. If you're like, hey, I'm confused, let's give you clarity. If you're like, hey, I'm stuck in the chaos, let's break you out of the chaos and actually have you stand in confidence versus everything that's been happening. You cannot have freedom without intellectual honesty. I'm not going to get into an argument with you tonight. It's pointless. Great help. Way to put things. God bless you and your family. Appreciate it. All right. You all have a blessed and wonderful evening. If I can help you inside of this, go to rawmotivations.com/breakthrough. I want to be able to help you heal and find freedom inside of everything that you're stuck with right now. If you're stuck in a trauma bond, I can help you heal from that. Can a person break the trauma bond and become a narcissist? You're not going to become a narcissist. Okay? But we can't help you break the trauma bond. Go to rawmotivations.com/breakthrough. Y'all have a blessed, wonderful night, and we'll see y'all next time. Take care.